Guys, welcome back to the Whiskey Blendery, man. Now, this guy is a friend of mine, Andrew. And what's your name, my friend?
My name's Jack. If you don't know me, you don't know me.
Hey, look, that's a good way to put it, man. Look, he said he was good on camera. Now I know for a fact. Yeah. Go ahead and walk them through your, what's it, not-for-profit?
Yep.
And it is a veteran-based.
It is veteran-based, yes.
Him and I have had some conversation. I said, you know, Andrew, I don't think people know the value of veterans.
Yep.
And I said, someone's not communicated effectively how important that word is to our safety, to everything that takes place in America, right? To a degree.
Yeah.
Now walk them through what you started, then he's going to tell us about his involvement, how this all works, and what we're doing at the Blendery.
So I started TXVET Outfitters 2 years ago. We started, you know, so for me, my mental health battle really started back after we deployed together. We'll tell that story in a second. But after that deployment, and then I just got back to my roots. Hunting and fishing was always just kind of where I found my zen, where I was the most chill, right? So I was like, well, I want to share this with other people. I'm blessed and fortunate now in my life where I get to hunt and I get to fish with my kid. And we both really enjoy it. We were like, let's share this with some of our brethren. Let's share this with some folks that have gone through the battle. But it also gave opportunity then to allow these landowners, allow ranchers to kind of hear their stories and realize, man, there's some value, there's some blood, sweat, and tears that have gone into the freedoms that we have, and reinvigorates them and the passion that they have and what they are doing, but also kind of just gives me a reason to hunt and gives me a reason to share it with these guys.
Now, mind you, what he explained to me early on was a lot of veterans, especially if you're a combat veteran, you actually been out there, shot a gun, had to protect yourself, maybe, you know, took 77 lives, who knows. But in perspective, he said these guys come back and it's back to like civility.
Yeah.
No guns, no hunting. So the hunt brings back kind of that vigor, if you would.
That sense of warriorship, right? That sense of camaraderie, that sense of just being a part of a unit, of a team, being able to move, having something that's mission oriented, right? You're tracking something, you're gonna have to kill something, right? It's what you're used to doing, right? It kind of gets back to the roots.
A full body empowerment of the soldier you were and were created in a good, healthy way.
There you go. Now talk about how you guys got together and what he does or how you guys work together.
Man.
So Jack and I met in 2005, so 20 years ago.
Jesus. As graduating high school.
Yeah.
Almost, like 2 years later.
Yeah. So we were already out of high school. We were already going into our first. We were going into our first deployment, and JM and I served together in Blendery, Iraq. We traveled all over Iraq together, served multiple deployments there. We got blown up together. True story. Literally.
Drunk as skunks, but whatever, that's not the point.
We don't tell some of those parts.
Tell stories, tax money at work, right?
So we connected in that way, and it was about 10 years or so, I think. Well, let's go back. Let's go 5 years before that. He had reached out and said, "Man, I'm in a really hard spot. Life isn't going well."
I was lost, brother. I was at the end, man.
So I went and sat down and I had a conversation with him and his dad, and I was like, "Hey, dude, you got to get your stuff together, man."
I'll tell you exactly what he told me. He told me get a Bible concordance.
Huh?
And he said, look up the word anger and write down every single verse that has anger in it. And don't call me your friend unless you do that.
Yeah.
And it took me, and bro, I was low. When I tell you I was low, like you see me standing in front of you right now, I was one step from home. Actually, I was homeless. I was fucking homeless. Excuse my language, sorry. But for real though, like when you talk about the end, dude, because I guess really what it comes down to, man, is us vets, we go through a thing called accepting death. Once you accept death, because you have to. If not, you're gonna be worried, scared, whatever like that. Once you've accepted death, not that you want to die, not that you're looking for it at that moment, but you fully accepted it in your life, everything in Iraq becomes peaceful and easy because you've just made peace with that. You start to live in the moment. Nothing matters, not where you came from, none of that stuff matters. But the problem is when we come home, we didn't get it. And the military never taught us how to accept life. And that's what no one ever freaking learns. It took me years. When I read all the verses that had anger in it, the one truth I learned was that anger wasn't anything to be ashamed of.
Yep.
It was just something to not allow you to control and to help you push towards the truth. And then I started a long road from that. And actually, he doesn't even know this, so I'll tell you this for the first time. When you called me about this hunt, I was in the back of my neighborhood looking to end it. I've been fighting with my wife, ex-wife now. I've been fighting with all kinds of stuff, trying to figure it out.
We did you?
And I'll let him tell how you called and where it went from there, because the change for me to stand in front of you, to be able to even talk with this much confidence at this moment and be able to be a normal human again, started on this hunt.
Hey, that's and coming back to that in 2 seconds, that's why it's here. You know, part of anything non-for-profit is you got to raise money. And part of raising money is, he said, drunk. You got to drink to get drunk, but the Whiskey Blendery provides some of the best stuff, and Tim's super charity-driven. So, one of the things they're doing here today, and have been doing for a couple weeks now, is finding a barrel that he could release and raise money for charity through the Blendery. So he doesn't have to go get an NDP, all this other stuff, and then he'll get a check, and then that'll help support the next hunt. Yeah. And mind you, a lot of it's written off, but man, what an opportunity to be a part of something amazing that keeps men like him and probably a lot of others just alive and well, mentally well.
So that was the first time of me hearing that's where he was when I called him. But I told him, I said, I have some spots for veterans to come enjoy this hunt. And it was a duck and goose hunt, and it was the end of the season, so we didn't really know like how it was going to stack up and play out. I have a partner who's a former Marine who runs Prairie Bomb Outfitters in Amarillo, and he was like, hey, bring about 4 guys out. And I was like, well, let me get some guys together, and we'll come up and we'll hunt. And from a duck and goose hunt, it went completely terrible. We were already late into the season, snow was melting, the cold was already kind of dissipating, and it was hard. So we had another ranch donate some time, and we did an upland bird hunt, which was very successful. We had a lot of fun, but it was a matter of really kind of learning
the river,
learning that ebb and flow of that stuff. But one of the things that we encounter, and we've had this talk, is with veteran nonprofits, there's tons of them out there, and a lot of them just want to line their pockets. I wanted proof of concept before we ever did anything, so all of the hunts up until this point have been funded by me or a couple of other partners or some guys that wanted to write something off, but lodging and all those things were always out of my pocket. So when Tim and I met, and this was when the Blendery was first starting to take off, when you started coming up here originally, right? He had this idea and he pitched it to me, and I was like, I don't know if we're ready for that yet. I still want to do a couple more things. And we kind of finally got there, and Tim and I talked about kind of price point, where we wanted to do a bottle at, and what would be beneficial for us, but what would also help the Blendery at the same time, because we never want any of our partners to lose money, but we realize too that we have to make money. So this bottle alone, if we sell out of this bottle alone, it will fund our entire 2025 and 2026 hunting seasons for land fees and lodging.
Only at the Blendery, people. Now, again, as he said, idea was pitched. We'll make sure those bottles get sold. If you see this video on both platforms, Art of Whiskey, the Whiskey Blendery, you're going to probably cut. This is so good. I'm like, you can't do a phone version of this. You got to cut this stuff out of this one, because it's like, we can't revisit it. This is good. This is good stuff here. Even the way you just described your journey and how it got you here. And the fact that if this sells out, which we shouldn't have a trouble. If you picked any of those barrels over there, I'll do the rest. So Tim will too. So you go, let's have some fun, get these bottles out. But even more importantly, as he said, it will fund 2 years of keeping people mentally sane, bringing back camaraderie, having a good time, getting back to some of those roots those guys maybe lost sight of, and being stimulated. Like, I don't think people will understand how stimulating it is to be in your environment.
Right. And I think one of the things that I always like to make clear to people, especially for our side, because we are putting veterans back into the field with a firearm. I am proud to say this, that we are probably the most screened veteran nonprofit that is out there. We have an entire screening team that are former Green Berets and West Point graduates.
Screening so nobody gets killed, is what you're saying?
Pretty much, yeah.
This ain't gonna be what's that movie where Buddy got killed at the end?
Yeah.
This isn't a Chris Kyle race.
This isn't a Chris, Chris Kyle.
Well, you get so that's important too. So
that's very important to me. Because honestly, my son's out on these hunts with me. He coordinates the hunts for me. So that's my baby boy. So I got to make sure he's safe. Because if not,
but it can happen though,
if something happens, it's going to happen twice, because it's going to happen to one of him, and if I have to come home and tell Mama, it's going to happen to me. And then it's going to be triple, because she's going. You know what I'm saying?
It's a trifecta thing. But even more importantly, it is a real thing to struggle with.
It is
having a firearm and seeing a person blacking out per se, putting everybody at risk.
Right. So our screening team does a couple of things. Not only do we make sure from a mental health perspective that everybody is safe on this hunt, but we also verify service records to make sure that we are actually giving a hunt to somebody that is deserving that honor. We have no stolen valor.
No stolen valor.
In that sense, it's very important.
What's the name of this bottle?
So this bottle is going to be called the Hunter.
I
like Valor better.
Valor? Okay. I mean, hey,
I like the Hunter's
I'm
Valor.
not sold on the name. I'm not sold on the
like
name.
when you said it's
So-
like we don't let nobody steal no Valor. I was like, damn, Valor, that's a strong bottle right there.
So we had we narrowed it down to 2
There
barrels.
you go.
That was good.
The Hunter, that's a good one, but you like I love that there's a process. So part of them is buying the bottle. It's like, yo, this is for those where there's no stolen valor. Like it's
I
like
think that's the name, right? No Stolen Valor.
Yeah, but it's like Valor.
I like that.
And then the slogan at the bottom, no stolen valor when you sell it or drop some
I like
type
it.
of.
Yeah.
There's the punchline.
It is, yeah.
That's why we do this, people.
Yeah, that's exactly what we do this. So, when I showed up, I told Tim, I said, this is what I want. I want this to remind you of being warm and in the woods. Like, I want this bottle to, I don't want it hot. I don't want it to, punch you in the face, but I want it to be something that reminds you of what it means to be
Burn
warm
the past and the
and
hope of the future.
this guy. I steal the show.
Hey, he's still he's a part of it.
I'm a soundbite.
He is.
I'm a soundbite man, brother.
He's a soundbite guy. But JM, Jack, and we'll have a couple of other guys coming through when we bottle that have received some hunts from TXVET Outfitters, and this is just a really important thing to me because one of the things that we have learned is that we actually have found a way to actually provide hope to a lot of these dudes.
You heard it here too. This guy only told the truth, and that's his story and his story to tell. So again, the name of the non-for-profit that they can go support. Is there any other way they can support? Is there somewhere they can donate money if they so choose?
Yeah, so there's a link on the website on TXVET, TXVET, so you can see it on the shirt right here, TXVETOutfitters.com. Click donate, you can donate that way.
There you have it, people. So if you're in the area, you know a veteran, or you know someone struggling even, but definitely in this case, for veterans, one, buy a bottle to support his cause. Two, you just heard an amazing story from someone who's basically at a line, take one more step, he's gonna blow himself up per se, right?
Yeah.
And why this is so important to be supportive of, and the Blendery, my God. As he said, I've been here for a whole year, and you know what I'm doing here, trying to make this thing blow up.
Yeah.
And so far, so good.
Yeah, it's been awesome to watch this whole journey.
Hey, I remember when. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Guys, stay tuned. Keep it whiskey. Follow it on all platforms. Donate if you can. We'll be doing more videos, especially when the bottle drops. Until next time. Peace. Good stuff, man.